What's up, my Finna loves? It's Miss Finna D coming to you all from Finna Entertainment News. Yes, I miss you too. There are some people that come to my YouTube channel for, specific reasons, and, whether it's a series that I'm doing or a show that they follow. So not everybody watch every video. So I know that some of you only came to my channel to watch Bryan and Rachel videos update. And so some of you, basically, it's been a while since you've clicked on my channel, because the last update I did on these two was over a month ago. Okay, so when I say I know you missed me, I'm talking to those people. When I say Happy New Year, I'm talking to those people who, have disappeared, because I disappeared on you guys as it relates to Bryan and Rachel. But you already know why. I always say this all the time, that, if the content is not, up there as far as the way that I do the series, then I'm not just going to post a 2 seconds clip and be like, yes, guys, they're still together. Well, Bryan and Rachel have been consistently putting things out there, so I feel like now it's appropriate to do a video on them. This is going to be broken up into probably a 3-part or 4-part, because I ended up collecting a lot of content, because it's been over a month. I think, yes, over a month since I posted about them. So the first thing I'm going to start with is, a lot of you were in my DMs on Instagram, where's Bryan and Rachel? Are they still together? When Colton's season of The Bachelorette premiere, they had all of these different live shows, just to bring a new excitement to the show and all of that. One of the live, watch parties was in Dallas. And so people were expecting to see Bryan and Rachel because they live in Dallas. Well, they chose football over roses, and I don't blame them. So what I'm going to do now is insert clips of the two of them together from that football event. I'm also going to insert Rachel Lindsay caption and Bryan Abasolo caption. Actually, what I'm going to do, instead of just inserting it, I'm going to put it on the screen, but I'm also going to go ahead and read what they had to say. So guys, they're still together. Everything is still going well. Rachel posted, tonight is football over roses. Also, that's what DVR is for. National championship. And go ahead and read the rest of her hashtag. And so that was what Rachel wrote and posted. And Bryan went ahead and joined in, but he has some sweet words, for his fiance. It's been almost 2 years since I went all in and made the biggest catch of my life. Very clever wordplay, Bryan. Catch of my life. Good luck to everyone on The Bachelor ABC tonight, okay? And so that's cute. And then Rachel went ahead and responded right there. So congratulations to Bryan and Rachel. They're still together. They're still doing well. What I want to do a separate video that's going to include all of their beautiful images together and Instagram stories and all of the things they've been doing together. That's going to come in part 2. What I want to do in this video right here is, I want you guys to hear it from Rachel herself. How's her life? How's her career? How's Bryan doing? How's Copper? How's the wedding planning, going along? Are they still getting married this year? What's going on? I want you guys to hear those words from Rachel herself, instead of me just, oh yeah, I talked to Rachel, or when I said talk, I mean probably on social media, DMs or whatever, or oh yeah, or some clips of them together. I want you guys to hear the words from her mouth. So she sat down and did an Instagram live recently. It was a long Instagram live, so I'm going to do my best to take out the parts that's not really focused on Rachel and Bryan, and just include the parts where she's talking about her career, Bryan's career, and their life together in Dallas. So after this part, then I'm going to go ahead and drop a part 2 that's going to have all of those clips and lovely videos and images of them together, just being Bryan and Rachel, R&B, and just being happy in love. So let's go ahead and get into the Instagram live and hear it from Rachel herself.
It's fine. I have a laugh track. you kind of, I'm going to go look at the...
I love lashes.
I know they're light.
I get extensions now, so
Is it
I'm
bad?
them off.
Oh, yeah.
Are you good to listen on that?
Yeah, I'm going to come over there and turn this on.
Well, none of this has to be live, but when I was sitting here, there was a woman right over here. She's on my age. She's like, so what is police? I'm like, oh, wait. I might need to explain who we are a little bit, too, before we get started.
But actually, what you do on the live.
Oh, okay.
So, like,
Yeah.
we're live.
We are live.
We are live. Oh.
It's happening.
Okay. Well, that was awkward. No, I'm kidding. We're so excited to have you guys at Freestyle, and hopefully a lot of you have been in the door. I recognize some faces, but for those of you that haven't been here, thanks for coming, and thank you for being here, Rachel.
No, absolutely.
This is going to be so much fun. But Freestyle's a really cool company. So we are celebrating 10 years this year. But it started in a very different form, and that's what we're going to talk about a lot today, is how we evolve and change and pivot and become, a company over time and find our career path and so forth. But for Freestyle, we started as a tiny little flea market 10 years ago. I was a writer at the time and just put this on to support my friends and family and make a little extra money. Well, here we are today with a 5,000 square foot store. We have markets all over Texas. We celebrate and support hundreds and hundreds of makers and shakers, is what we call them, but small businesses in our backyard that really need a platform outside. And women like Rachel that are creating careers that are a little unconventional, and they've kind of fallen into them, or they've made their own career path out of just like being curious or finding what really made their heart happy after trying something different. So I hope you go back and listen. Anyway, enough about me. Now it's all about you.
No, I just have to say I'm happy to be here. When I met you, I'm all like about Dallas and Texas and girl bosses, and so it was just a natural fit for me to be here. And so when she told me about this and having an opportunity to meet some people in our own backyard, I am embarrassed to say that I hadn't heard about Freestyle, and now like is such a huge fan of it. So I hope you all are too. Just like supporting, you said, local businesses and just people, and a lot of people tell their stories. It just means so much to me. And so, like, I love this intimate setting. I'm all about it. Like, so let's talk to each other.
Yes, we're going to. I can't wait. Well, let's kick off with how I stalked you to be on this podcast. That's pretty.
She's exaggerating.
Well, we're fans, so we love The Bachelor in The Office. I mean, every Tuesday we come in and we dish. Which we'll dish a lot tonight later. But you were someone I wanted on because I really am serious about small business, and I thought that you would be someone that could really honestly talk about a career, and you had a lot going on for you outside of being on TV.
Yeah.
And then the stars collided, literally at the Star, at an event with the Dallas Cowboys, and I was like, okay, I'm going after her, because we had been talking to your people for a while, and just weren't quite breaking through. And anyway, I'm like, girl, hey, I have to have you on this podcast. You're like, who are you? Luckily, I knew the name.
I was nicer than that.
No. I had the name of the person we were talking to, and I think you believed me in any way. It took like 6 months because you've been busy.
It's been insane.
I know, I can't wait to talk all about it, but here you are, and so thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, it goes to show, guys, just reach out to people you want to talk to. Be nice, but good things can happen.
Yeah, for sure.
But when I saw you, you were but really kind of getting into your sea legs of the broadcasting thing, TV thing, and a lot has happened since.
Yes.
And a big career move has happened since. So kind of talk to us about where you are right now and what is going on in your career.
Yeah, so I feel like I have to, and even I had a conversation today where someone had like a misconception as to how I got to where I got. So, you go on The Bachelor, and yes, my coworkers, just long story short, my coworkers nominated me, and I laughed, and then I thought, why not? Like, who knows what can happen? I love to try new things. That was extreme. And so it all turned out that Bachelor happened, and then Bachelorette was just something I said no to, but then you saw where the journey took me. Well, after Bachelorette, I kind of thought, I have this time. I was still working with my law firm, but they had given me the freedom to kind of do what I wanted to, but still be tied to the firm. I was still doing work, but on a part-time basis. So then I get a call from ESPN, and I'm thinking, this is it. I've made it. ESPN's calling me. This is what happens when you're on TV. I totally had that thinking. I go in there, I meet people, I talk to them, and they're like, you're great, but you don't connect to a sports audience. And the door's shut. So a lot of people think, oh, ABC, Disney, ESPN, that's how I got, to just start doing broadcasting. ESPN told me no. More than a year ago at this point, they said no.
What does that mean, not connecting?
So sports is different. You're known for reality TV. You're known for entertainment. You're known to talk about love. But being in a sports world, it's almost like trying to go talk politics on CNN. That's a very specialized world, and the audience doesn't know you like that. You're known for being a reality TV star, even more than being a lawyer. That's what people know you for. So we like you, but that's no. So, you can go one or two ways with that. You can shut down and go back to what you know and stay complacent and what's familiar and comfortable, or you can take that no and fuel it into something else and make it light a fire under you. And so if you've watched just a little bit of me, I'm fiery. So I was like, oh, you told me no? Okay, well, we'll fix that. And so I really spent a year just grinding and networking and meeting people till I got to the point to where I am. I'm generalizing because I just don't know if you're going to ask me other questions.
Yeah.
To get to the point where I am, where ESPN came back literally a year later, almost to the date, and offered me a show, a radio show. So it's just to show you, take that, don't let that no define you. Take it, use it as a springboard to get to where you want to go.
Yeah. I'm curious, so kind of going back to your early days, did you always think you wanted to be a lawyer? Were you the type, because I always wanted to be a broadcaster, and I did that for a while, but then I totally changed that. And I think for people that are listening, they may have gone to school for something or feel stuck down a lane because they were educated in it, spent thousands of dollars on it. Did you always want to do that? Did you spend a lot of energy in that world?
Yes and no. So I'm a middle child, which explains a lot. It does. But in middle children, stereotypes also as pleasers. You're always trying to. I was always trying to please my parents. So to answer your question, yes, I wanted to be a lawyer. I knew I always wanted to do that. But once I got to college and I went to University of Texas, Hookham, once I got there, I started seeing new things and meeting new people, and I wasn't necessarily walking the straight line. I thought there's so much more out here. So someone introduced me to sports management, and I thought, this is exactly what I want to do. And I remember I was so excited, and I told my dad, and he was like, what are you going to do with that? What kind of job can you have with that? Are you still going to law school? And I was like, yes, I can still go to law school. And so it's like I knew law wasn't what I ultimately wanted to do, but I felt, I wanted to please my parents and I wanted to do law, but I felt this pull of sports management, and I even chose my law school based on sports. I went to Marquette because of their sports law program. So yes, I wanted to be a lawyer. I even took a year off to decide between college and law school. I was a substitute teacher. Almost became a teacher. It's like, all over the place. Yeah, that's why I bought that free spirit necklace out there. But I really wanted to decide if law was for me, and I felt it was. And so I did go to law school the first semester, and I was like, this isn't for me. But I picked up and moved to Wisconsin, so I just finished through it. And I do love law. There's something about it. I love helping people, and I love fighting for things and reading the law and having it define an argument and, to prove your point. There's an aspect of it I love, but I never had the desire to be a partner in a law firm or start my own business. I wanted to take what I learned in law school for my law degree and take those skills and apply it somewhere else.
So you did go through with it, though. You were.
I did.
And you just told me out there that you made a big decision this week.
Yes.
And tell everyone what that is.
So I am still affiliated with my law firm, but I gave away all my cases December 31st. And that was a huge decision for me for a number of reasons. One, I'm a pleaser, remember, so I didn't want to disappoint my parents, more so my dad, who I still think is struggling with the fact that I gave away all my cases. I didn't want to disappoint people. People respect the fact that I'm an attorney. I'll always be an attorney. I'm still licensed in 2 states. I'm still up to date on my dues, and I still am with my law firm. I mean, you can email me and ask me legal advice to this day. I just needed to give up my cases. But there were so many people I was afraid of disappointing I had to shut that down and figure out, what does Rachel really want? Big Rach, for those of you that really want. What does Big Rach want to do? What's furthering those goals? What am I doing to push that forward? And I'm a civil defense attorney. That wasn't helping my broadcasting career, or even like fueling the creative side of things for me. And so I had to be brave enough to let it go. You know, I don't let it all go. I'm still an attorney, like I said. But I had to give up my cases because I felt, honestly, it started off with a joke. Someone would say, how do you do it all? And I'd say, well, I'm dying a slow death. And then I would think about it and I was like, that's not funny. You know, like I was serious. I really felt like I was drowning, I was dying. And so I had to reevaluate things and prioritize certain things. Stop saying yes and spreading myself so thin. And that's how I ended up making that decision.
I was going to say, was there a tipping point? I'm sure people listening are in those shoes, like maybe they're a CPA but really want to be an artist or something. Like, wanting to know, how do you make, like, what's the final string that makes you go, okay, now is the time? Was there something for you, or was it just like, I can't keep dying a slow death?
I felt like I wasn't good at anything.
Yeah,
I felt like
jack of all trades, expert at none, or whatever they say.
Yeah, I felt like I wasn't sinking, but I was right there. And I thought, I'm just staying afloat. I'm not great at what I'm doing in my law degree. I'm not great at broadcasting. I'm just getting by. And I don't want that to define me. I want to be great at every single thing that I do. That was really the tipping point when I started, like I took a step back. And then here's the other thing. I'm engaged. Ask me if I started planning the wedding. And I really do want to marry Bryan. And I'm taking away from my personal life because I'm dedicating so much to my career, which is what I did before The Bachelor, which is part of the reason I went on it. I thought I'd feel great or successful in other areas of my life except for the love part. So I go on the show, I'm all dedicated to love, I'm a champion for it, and then I fall right back into the same habit. So I had to really start prioritizing things. So there will be a wedding this year.
Now that you're getting into all that.
Yeah, so that was part of it too. It's like I keep saying, oh, it's coming, and I want it to happen, but I'm just too busy to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, you're dangling that carrot, so I have to go there real quick. So let's finish up real fast on this topic. So you quit your cases. You're still
practicing
my
cases.
Yes. So tell us like what your career is right now and like what's on the calendar for 2019.
Yeah, I'm terrified. Like I'm confident with my new group of friends. I am terrified.
That's a big thing to happen, girl.
Yeah.
That is when you know you're gonna fight for whatever it is.
Yes.
So this is a good thing.
I mean, I let go of, I've been a lawyer for 7 years, and I'm letting that go, my steady income. I lost my benefits. I think the most heartbreaking thing. I think that's what I was holding on to as well. And it's like, there are so many people out here who are self-employed who don't do that. So I just had to get over what was comfortable to me and think about what makes me happy, what am I passionate about, what do I want to do. I have to take advantage of this moment. So, on the calendar, I have my radio show, but guess what? It's football. It's a football show. It ends in 2 weeks. So that ends, but it's giving me this space to be creative. And so I just got home yesterday, but I was sitting there with Bryan and I'm like, I actually have time to read and time to write things down and to create what I want this Rachel Lindsay brand to look like with sports and entertainment and speaking to women and empowering, volunteering. There's just so many things that I want to do that I didn't have the time to do when I was answering emails for work or managing cases. Believe it or not, I was still in court. I was in depositions. I just don't Instagram that kind of stuff because attorney-client privilege, but I was really still working pretty much full-time. And again, I was dying. So yes, what's on the calendar? I don't know yet. You know, I have little things here and there, but I don't have anything steady. And I really feel at peace. It took me a long time to get here, but I'm terrified, equally terrified and excited at the same time that I just kind of have this clean slate to do what I want to do.
Is there a wedding on the calendar for 2018?
There's not a date, but there is a wedding. I think, and this is what I tell people too, I thought it was going to be televised. So I thought I had the benefit of someone planning it myself. So it was easy to say, I want a winter wedding because I thought someone else was going to do it for me. That's not happening. I have to do the work myself, so I have to get realistic. So I am talking to a wedding planner. That's true. I've pretty much narrowed down the location. So now we can start picking out the date.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. And by location, I mean the city.
And when I talked to you, we talked about the wedding a little, or your life a little bit, and what you were planning on. And you were telling me, I'm from California. We mentioned maybe you were moving West Coast, LA area. You talked about going back to Bryan's home turf in Miami, right?
Yeah.
Do you guys have any ideas of where life's going to land with the TV career? Is there a spot you have to be?
So we have to decide pretty quickly because our lease is up in February. Or we're staying over month to month. But yes, that I'm taking leaps and baby steps. I'm still being cautious as an attorney, but I do want to move to LA, but I'm also frugal. So I'm like, if I'm moving to LA, I have to have something set in stone. So I'm taking leap, ultimate leap. But what was tying me down to them, I do have the flexibility to move anywhere. And so I kind of feel like LA is on the table. So is Miami. Bryan, without even thinking, moved from Miami to Dallas for me because he could work anywhere. And so I kind of been like, I could return the favor. Nothing's pulling me to a certain city right now, so Miami is still on the table.
Yeah, interesting.
But it's nice to just kind of have the freedom to do that. Like I feel like I've really been grinding. I'm not going to stop to where I'm comfortable enough to create and not have to worry about where the money is coming in from.
Yeah.
Now talk to me next year. It could be a totally different story.
Yeah. That's life. So I want to get into the broadcasting thing, or TV personality. Kind of. You're on radio too. What do you call that career? Just
I don't know. When people, it's the hardest question I get.
call you?
When people are like, "What do you do?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm an attorney. I do broadcasting. I guest host.
Yeah.
I write sometimes. I'm an influencer. I don't know what to call it. I'm big rage.
You're figuring out. So with Big Rage, I'm just curious because I'm sure our listeners are in a similar position in a different career. But are you faking it till you make it? Are you going to school for broadcasting? I did go to school for that, and so I know that it is a real career, and you don't have to go to school for it. But my point is how are you kind of filling your new shoes? And do you have any tips for people that want to do something they didn't go to school for, but just have a passion for it?
Yeah. I never thought I was going to be on camera. I thought I would always be in sports, but I thought I would be behind the camera. And then after I did the show, and I did the media rounds, it wasn't even doing the show, because that's
your training right there.
It was the media rounds,
Yeah.
and I thought, I love this, and I obviously love to have an opinion, and I love to talk about it, and I thought, why not do it from that angle? And so, I'm not going to school for it. I feel like social media has enhanced my career. It's really been the springboard for it because there's so many ways you can put yourself out there at this point without, like you said, having to go to school for it. But I would say the biggest advice, I ask questions, and I am smart enough to know what I don't know. Smart enough to know I didn't come from this career. So I'm always picking different people's brains that are on camera or on radio or that are producing it behind the scenes. I'm asking for advice. On my radio show, I spend time after every show and I ask for constructive criticism. What did I do wrong? What can I do better? Because I don't think that I'm too good for anything. I think constructive criticism is like the best thing ever.
Yeah.
And it's like, who am I? Sorry, I just thought of Game of Thrones for a second. I just started Game of Thrones, so that's like a line in there. Who knew? Nobody knows. Until the part of the season I'm so obsessed with it. Like when I leave here, I'm gonna go watch. It's like what Bryan and I do. But no, I think the biggest thing is you're never too old, too big to stop learning.
Yeah.
And I'm constantly reading, whether I'm reading, so for me, sports, so I'm reading, sports articles, sports magazines, sports business journal. I'm watching TV shows. I'm trying to become a student of this, which is part of the reason I left my law career. It's the same thing. It's like the same way you go to law school. I'm trying to learn this.
Yeah.
And networking, gosh, that's invaluable.
Do you have any tips on that? I get this kind of love-hate with that. People say, oh, I hate that term, networking. It feels kind of cheap or like, but I think it's crucial. I think there's a way, it's not networking in the sense of just trying to find someone to help you further your career. It's trying to connect with people. It's connecting, right?
Exactly.
Do you have any tips for that? Because that's hard for some people.
I mean,
it's everything.
You have to,
If I didn't network with you at the party, you wouldn't be here.
No, seriously. You have to have your elevator speech together of who you are and who you represent, and then just be ready for every opportunity. Business card. I mean, for example, I'm going to Super Bowl, not the game. but I'm going to Super Bowl to Atlanta. Ask me if I had one invite to a party, to anything. I have nothing. My sister lives in Atlanta. I'm like, great, free place to stay. I'll figure it out when I get there. Like, it's like that type of thing. That who can I connect with since we're restructuring? Yeah. Not using the word network.
I don't mind the word.
It's like, who can I meet? How can I don't want to pass up on this opportunity. It's those kinds of things.
That's smart girl boss right there.
Like hustling. How do you stand out from someone else? Someone else is going to be too afraid to walk into that or up to that person. I'm telling you, people don't network like they used to anymore. People don't have their resume together.
Because everyone's having their phone and
speech.
don't have that anymore to make a real connection sometimes. We have kind of gone behind the screen.
Isn't it sad?
It is sad.
I can't tell you how many people are impressed that I can just have a conversation because no one does it anymore. Just the fact that you're willing to have a conversation, follow up with an email. Example, I wonder if this person's listening. I was at this weekend, I met a guy who was a producer. He told me his name. I didn't even get his last name. I just Googled and went down a dark hole and until I found his email, because he works at ESPN just in a different department, until I found him and I emailed him. And like, it's just that kind of effort people just don't do anymore just because of social media or texting or whatever. So I would just say, grind, hustle, don't be afraid of what can happen, because the worst thing someone can just say to you is no.
And put yourself at the right place at the right time, like going there, not knowing, but just being there. If something happens, you're not lucky. That's opportunity meeting. What do they say? I forget the term, but
I do too.
But you know what I mean, where you created that luck for you because you put in the work to be there.
And I think once you get over the no, it's like the worst somebody can just say is no. No, thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
Like if you get past that, it's like, okay, move on. I told you, ESPN told me no. Fox Sports, no, you're not ready for this. You're not ready to be on national TV. I'm like, man, I just did a show. Like it's that kind of stuff. You just turn like, okay, once you get over it, and I'm not gonna lie, I remember getting those no's. I was discouraged, and I thought, I'll just go back to law. And then, so I'm not gonna say it was as easy as I was like, I got this. No, like I was upset. I had to really like do some soul searching, figure out what it is I wanted, and then use that to motivate myself.
Yeah. What are your current challenges kind of in your job situation? Is it finding like something consistent? Is it staying motivated to be your own boss, not having a boss anymore? Like what are some of your hardships?
Definitely finding something that's consistent, because I come from a world where it was structured and there were benefits, and like I had a boss, had someone telling me kind of what to do and what my tasks were, feeding it to me, whereas now it's like I have to bring it in myself. So I would say that. I would just say it's a cutthroat world. Like there's always somebody prettier, younger, smarter, more eloquent, than you are. So how do you create your niche? How do you stand out in a room full of people who kind of are just like you? What makes you different? And I think that's the challenge. It is new for me. Like as of today, literally is the first day where I'm back. I have no real job, so how do I structure my time and use it in an efficient and productive way? Yeah. That's challenging too. And really just to stay motivated, because you are the one, when you're your own boss, you're motivating yourself. So how do you stay motivated? I have an agent, but he's got other clients too. So it's kind of like you have to create your own content, you have to create your own brand. They're there to assist and put you in front of the right person, but when the opportunity presents itself, you have to be ready to go. That's why I say you have to have your elevator speech, like, so you don't miss out. Like, you be ready. If you stay ready, you never have to be ready.
Yeah. Walk me through a day in your shoes right now. I'm sure it's kind of hard to even say because it's so new, but like, what does a day as a self-employed big rate look like?
I don't know. That's really the answer. I don't know yet because it's so new. If you ask me today, because I guess today was kind of the first day, I walked my dog.
Emails and
I always walk. I walk my dog because it like clears my mind.
Where do you live in Dallas? I just want to know a little bit of detail.
Like uptown West Village area.
Okay.
We're only supposed to be there for 6 months because we were going to move to LA. It's like we're going on a year and a half at this point. It's life. But I get up, I walk my dog, and I think. I pretend I'm listening to something just in case someone's other than me, but I'm usually just like meditating or praying or whatever. Like that's just kind of how I start off my day. Sometimes I do listen to a podcast. I listen to Jenna Kutcher a lot. Like she's really motivating. I listen to sports sometimes. I'll listen to podcasts. Don't judge me. I love Bravo. So that's just kind of the way to get my day started, and then I'll come back. I usually turn on sports. I eat like that. I'm always have sports on in the background, you know, and that's the business I'm trying to get into. But then after that, it was answering emails. I had a couple of phone calls today just to network and introduce myself to people, see what people can do for me, what I can do for someone else. I had a goal to like do some creative stuff today. I didn't, but today's a little different. But tomorrow I'm working on a new website that's coming out. It'll launch probably in February. So there's certain things that I have to do with that. How to create that. How to build content for my radio show that's going to be there. What are different ways that I could build jobs for myself for Super Bowl? You know, whether it's hosting for a company for social media. I'm trying to think of ideas that I can do. I know I'm going to be out there, so how can I create work for myself? Say my radio show won't be there, but there's social media. For ESPN, I just did social media and media day. But I was like, what's a niche? Oh, I can talk to the guys about the show, The Bachelor. Like, what would you do if you were on it? Everyone's talking about football. Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
So I'm just like trying to create different jobs for myself.
So as you're saying this, I'm imagining you and like you're creating your career, your goal setting. Like, what does that look like? How do you set goals and try to keep yourself, you know, in line with them? Do you like create spreadsheets? These are all things I know all the questions about. Like, how do you actually do the work?
I do.
How do you
I
set goals, make them happen?
I do spreadsheets of everybody I've met, and then when's the last time I've talked to them, so I can go back and make sure that I reach out to them again. Like little things like that.
Accountable.
Like I'm kind of annoying, but it works. You know what I mean? Like I'm constantly making sure I'm in that person's like head. I create people that I've interviewed, that I've talked to. Like who could I reach out to through social media? You know, that I might have met through, I don't know, networking when I was doing something for Amazon Prime. Like different things like that. Different ideas that I have during the day. Sometimes I do voice memos. Like something I don't want to forget. Or if this is a thought that would be really good for a book. Or this would be really good if I was doing a speech. I'm just like constantly, I have so many notes, it's ridiculous. Like once a month I have to go through and organize all my notes in my phone.
Yeah. That's a great tip.
Yeah, I'm always...
Put it out there and keep yourself accountable.
And just really, I'm really working on like how to create, because I feel like TV's dying, right? So the reason you watch at least shows is because you're into someone's personality. So how do I hone in on that? Bachelor's back. Like how do I want to put myself in Bachelor world without being so Bachelor heavy? That's like still keeping my own identity as Rachel Lindsay and not just the Bachelorette. You know, how do I talk about Colton's season without criticizing Colton? but also keeping it very real, but also keeping my opinions about like, what I think about the season. You know, it's just a constant thing. I'm always thinking. Like I guess I just like don't stop.
Well, I'm chomping at the bit to get all that. So before I do, one last question on this career, because this is all so important, because you're so accomplished. You're not that there's anything against the TV percent, but you're not just a Bachelorette. You've had an incredible career. You've done so much school. I mean, I just wanted to talk about that, because I think it needs to be elevated.
Thank you. I don't feel accomplished. So maybe that's what fuels me.
I went to freaking law school.
I feel accomplished in that. But starting like my new business, I don't feel accomplished. I feel like I always call I'm a peon at ESPN, but that humbles me to never get comfortable and to always feel like I have to keep grinding. And so like that's what I would encourage people. Don't get complacent. I heard Stephen A. Smith say, who is somebody I look up to as a personality on ESPN, he said, just because you have a contract, don't get comfortable in that contract. You should always be thinking about the next contract. And that's kind of how I live my life.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, if you could kind of spell out your dream career, where you'd like to be, what you would love to do, what is that? What are your goals?
It's hard. When I get that question, it's hard to say, you know, I want to have my own show and it be period. Because I don't just want that. I guess I think of words. I want to inspire. I want to empower. I want to uplift. I don't want to pigeonhole myself to say, hey, once I, get my own show, that's it for me.
And show, you mean TV show? Or something like visual, not radio?
Yeah, I'd rather be visual than radio. I love radio though because it's like training me to fill air and to talk and to, describe things for people because they can't see what I'm talking about. It's great. And my show's 5 hours. Yeah, no. I'm not doing all the talking. There are two other hosts with me. It's like, and I drive the show more than talk on it. But I do want to do something on TV, but I also want to be speaking. I want to write a book. I want to, I want to create, I guess, the Rachel Lindsay brand, and I don't want it just to be defined in sports or entertainment. The reason I said yes to Bachelorette is that I wanted to reach an audience that isn't reached or hasn't been reached by the franchise. And then I felt it was bigger than me. I really said no. It took me a month to say yes to do the show. But I felt like I wanted to inspire and uplift and talk to young girls and be a representative of something that maybe you hadn't seen on the show, but then use that platform just like as a lifestyle. So it's hard. I mean, yes, I want to do sports and entertainment. I mean, I love a career like Michael Strahan or Robin Roberts or even Jamel Hill or Carrie Champion. Like, I love what those people have done. Natalie Morales. Like, it's not just about the show. They're interviewing people. They're telling stories. That's the kind of thing I want to do. I absolutely want to do something where I'm telling stories. Other people's stories, not mine.
Okay, so now I'm just going to go into all the fangirl moments over here.
Yeah.
I can't wait. I know this is what they want to hear too and listen to. So I'm going to start with The Bachelor. Talk to us about your journey. Clearly, you said that you were nominated, you weren't really sure, then you got on, you realized it was like, okay, so then you're on. And how was it? Give us the scoop. You are a big candid talker. I know that.
Yeah.
Like, what can you tell us?
And she gave me wine, you guys.
Some more. So, talk to us about the experience. I don't even know what to ask. I just want to say, what do you want to tell me? Or what can you tell me?
I will say that it was nothing what I thought it was. Okay, in true lawyer fashion, I just knew how it was going to be. You couldn't tell me anything different. I was like, those producers are going to be this. I'm not going to like any of those girls because I knew I was going to be the oldest one in the house. I was like, I'm going to be 30. I have this career. I was like, the guy's going to send me home the first night. He's going to like me. I couldn't have been more wrong. To this day, I still talk to producers on the show. When I go to California, I hit them up. I consider some of them close friends.
That's so cool.
The girls, I still talk to them to this day.
I a few, who are your faves?
Astrid, Whitney, Alexis. I still talk to Raven, Christina. Those are people that I still communicate with. Jasmine. I mean, and even people I've met off my season, like Caitlin, JoJo, other bachelorettes I've talked to. I am shocked at how the girl gang that I have through the Bachelorette, but and ecstatic about it at the same time. I was so wrong. I was like, I'm just gonna stay in a corner and read. No, I was like running around that house like, let's play another game. It was so much fun. And then I thought I wouldn't get along with Nick. I knew I would get along with him. I thought he wouldn't like me. And I was like, first impression was, because remember, I didn't watch the show really before. I knew general things about it. So I was like, I remember I turned to somebody and I go, is this first impression a big thing? And she goes, you're going to be here a while. Let's just say that. That's what someone told me. So it completely blew my mind, but I love that. I was the biggest skeptic. And, I had highs and lows during the show, from Bachelor to Bachelorette. But overall, I would say good things about the franchise. I really am not going to trash it. I've written articles and that's gotten, there were things that I was upset about, which again, I'm honest. But if I have to speak in an overall sense, I am obviously very pleased with how my time was on the show.
I have to know, what is a day like on that show? Do you wake up and have breakfast as a crew? We had one question. When do they eat? But how does it work? Is there a lot of waiting around? Can you give us a little bit of scoop on that?
The theme is definitely hurry up and wait. When you are a contestant on the show, so I'll talk about that because that's what most people get to experience. When you're a contestant on the show, you are always hurrying up just to wait to be told what to do. So a typical day in the mansion, this was my day. I couldn't sleep in that mansion. I hate the mansion. It's nasty.
You need to be a decorator.
I mean, like, where you sleep, no, but I just, like, am not a big fan of the mansion. Like, I always say that. But, so I couldn't sleep there. So I wake up, I go to bed super late at night. I wake up at 7.
Are you guys, like, partying or talking or just, like...
No, you're waiting up for the person to come back. So whether it's a group date or it's a one-on-one, you're like, when is this person going to come back? Is she going to come back? What is she going to tell me? So you're up, you know? And as soon as the sun came up, I was up. I'd get up, I'd make coffee, and then I'd go to this gazebo with Astrid and Whitney, and we would like gossip because it was like too early for them to like us. So we can get like the gossip. Then they caught on to what we were doing, and we were soon liked. But then from there, we put on workout clothes, and there's this like hill down from the pool that you can't see. So we would like walk in rounds, like up and down this hill.
Is there a gym by there?
There's not a gym. There's not a gym, and there's not a chef. So
really? I figured there was a workout room.
no, people bring like their own tools, their own mats, like free weights. I said tools. Their own like free weights and stuff. Like working out thing. Brian would be so disappointed. But there's that. Like there's always some like workout guru. There's always somebody who wants to cook, and then somebody who wants to cook and then impress, you know, the Bachelorette and say, well, I cook in the house. And I would always be like, yeah, so-and-so does all the cooking. We just sit back and eat, like, whatever.
So do they just put groceries in the fridge and you have to eat whatever they put in there?
You make a grocery list.
All these questions.
No, you make a grocery list, and then they go out, but you cook the food. Sometimes producers will cook the food for you, but it's mainly you cooking the food. We eat all the time. It's just they're always like, nobody wants to see you eat. And like the few times you do see somebody eat, they chew in like weird ways. They get food on their mouth, or they're snacking. It really isn't pleasant. And so that's why you never see us eat on camera. But we do eat. So work out, eat.
Is there a bar like open at all times?
There's not a bartender. So it's changed since I was on the show, but at the time I was on the show, there's not a bartender, but there's alcohol there.
Yeah.
And so like there's this
appears that way.
There's this big misconception that like you're forced, it's like you can't walk through the door until you have a drink. No, you're all adults. There is alcohol there. So if you want to get up and get yourself a drink, that is your own free will to get that drink. So yeah, people are bored, so they drink, you know? So when you usually change clothes, Chris Harrison's coming back to tell you, you know, here's a date card, it's a one-on-one, it's a group date, and then once you find out you're not on the date, you are like, great, I have to stay in this house again. And you think that you've been there for weeks, and it's been like 2 days. And so from there, you can continue to work out, you get in the pool, people tan, they journal,
Your
they
phone,
read.
computer, any communication?
No phone,
So
no computer, no TV. And so at first, you're dying. But you can journal, you can read, you do a lot of interviews.
It's like a vacation.
You are. It's old school, and I think I'm stuck in that. Technically, I'm a millennial, but I don't feel like it because I'm stuck in that middle age where it's like I remember things that other people don't, but I also understand like millennial language, and so like I get that. So for me, it was hard at first, but then it becomes super refreshing. I can't. It sounds awful, but guys, to like not have a care in the world of what's happening in the world and worrying about, because you set up your bills and all that before somebody helps you or auto pay, whatever. You just aren't concerned about social media and posting and TV. And you are actually concerned about what's in front of you and what you want for the first time without any outside distractions. Mm-hmm. If you go into it and you get that, you're winning. Whether you end up with the guy, become the Bachelorette, become a breakout star, if you can gather that, it's the most rewarding thing. You realize you come out of it knowing what you want for yourself, which is why you see a lot of people come out of the show and get in relationships, because they know exactly what it is that they want. And so, for me, it was that. I'm talking, it's almost counseling. You're talking to these producers about, of course they're like, what do you think about so-and-so getting the date? And how do you feel about that? But at the same time, it's like, well, why do you feel that way? And what do you really want for yourself? I loved it.
It worked.
It worked.
And so Nick didn't pan out.
No, Nick didn't work out.
Do you still talk to him?
So I'm extremely candid because
I love it.
I didn't originally talk to Nick because Vanessa and I didn't get along, which is not a secret. Now we do get along, and so it was more of like not because of anything with her. It was out of respect. How can I not get along with talk to your fiance, but I can talk to you? To me, that's absolutely disrespectful. So that is why I didn't have a relationship with Nick. Now, Vanessa and I, we get along just fine. We talked. It's great. I've talked about this before. We just didn't get along before. So that's the reason I didn't initially talk to him.
Was there a problem? I didn't know this.
We had issues on the show that weren't filmed, and so we just didn't get along. You don't get along with everybody, and I'm very honest. I'm not going to pretend like I got along with everybody. You don't. It is what it is. Since then, we've talked it out. I always say the show can bring out the best and the worst of a person, but for me, I didn't have a relationship with Nick outside the show because I wasn't talking to his fiance, and I just think that that's disrespectful. So they broke up. Now Vanessa and I talk. Now Nick and I are cool too.
Yeah. So that didn't pan out, but obviously the Bachelorette did. So what was that? Was that an obvious thing? Did that take some coaxing? You sounded like you didn't want to do it right away.
Yeah. So I really. One of the biggest questions I get is, did you really like Nick? Yes, I did. And I didn't think I would going in because I was so skeptical, but we really got along well.
Do you think though it's because you're in this bubble and like that's all you have in front of you and that's partially you have like these sunglasses on that makes you really like someone? Or did you feel like outside of it, if you met him at a bar in Dallas, you would have dated him?
Yeah, if I met him just like in a group of other men, maybe not. But I was shocked at how well we got along. It's one of those things where, I can say that about the guys that were on my season. It's not just to Nick. You don't know until you're in this situation. And it's like, man, maybe I would have judged you. Maybe I would have thought you didn't like me. But now that we're in this situation, it's very unique. It's a totally different scenario. So I was shocked at how well we got along. Effortlessly. And so, yes, that's the only man in your world. That does play into it as well. But I really did like Nick. So I didn't necessarily think marriage. I didn't think we were going to get married, but I liked.
Yeah.
That's like as honest as I can be about it. So when I got dumped and they sent me home in Finland, of all places, which no one looked like me in Finland. Let me tell you why people cry so hard when they get sent home. It's a shock. You have to think about this bubble you're in. There's one man or girl, depending on the show you're on. So it's the only person that you can go after. The producers become your parents. The people you're in the house with are your only friends. And then all of a sudden, it ends. And it comes crashing down because you're cut off from the world. So you're emotional, like, what do I do? Where do I go? What happens? You kind of have to take baby steps to get back into that world. I remember when I got my phone.
I was going to say, where's your phone in all this?
They
have a holding place?
They keep all your phones in place. But as sad as you are to give your phone away, when you get it back, you don't want to turn it on. It's crazy, the psychological game, for lack of better words, that it all is. So when I was dumped, I was emotional, no one likes rejection. I thought, oh my gosh, I got to go back to real life. I have to pay for things. I have to go work a legal job. What is life like now?
And you can't talk about anything that's just happened either, I'm assuming. You have an NDA or?
You do.
Okay.
You do. But then there's Reality Steve. I didn't say it. Reality Steve said it.
Yeah.
You really can't play that game. So the day after I got dumped, I remember I was sitting with producers and they said, what do you think about being a Bachelorette? And I just thought that they were just telling me that to make me feel better. But they were serious. And I said, no, gosh no. You really don't think about that. I know people are and there are some people who go on the show for ulterior motives, but I never thought I'm going on the show because I want to be the Bachelorette. Never my thought. My thought was, I'm open to whatever can happen. I didn't want to be closed-minded at who I could meet and what that kind of impact that person had on my life. So when Bachelorette came, I thought, no, you guys, no, that's not even a thought. I don't want to do that. And then they said, go home. think about it. And my mom was like, oh God, no. Don't do that, Rachel. Like, they'll crucify you. That's the worst thing that could happen. You know, and I just thought about it. And I said this earlier, it was bigger than me. And I just thought, what kind of impact could this have? I've never had a black lead in this franchise. And I thought that if I did it, I could do it right. I did not think I would find love. I just thought I could do this right. But again, same thing I had when I went on Nick's season. Who knows what can happen? I'm open to it. But there's no way they're going to find me a guy that I'm going to want to spend the rest of my life with. That's all I kept thinking. And so it took me a while. I would go out. I did some interviews because there's an interview process just like there is to be on The Bachelor. And I thought, I'm going to do this. I'm going to say yes. But I don't think I realized the media attention of being the first black lead would get. I didn't, and I'm also glad I didn't do that because I think it would have been too much for me.
Yeah.
I just was like, okay, I'm going to do it. I had a slight breakdown before, and I remember I called Raven. I had a slight breakdown before the day I was about to announce on Jimmy Kimmel because I was in trial, you guys. I was in trial. I had finished, done this direct examination of an expert, flew to LA, and I was sitting in the hotel. This was like I didn't have time to think about it. And I was waiting for the jury verdict from the other attorney that I was working with, sitting in this room about to go on Jimmy Kimmel, and I just broke down. I was like, what am I doing? Who am I? I didn't even have time to think about it. And I called Raven, I'm like, boo-hooing. I'm like, what is happening? What is life? Do you want to be the Bachelorette? I just don't know if this is for me.
Did you win your case?
It's civil, so yes and no. Like they got awarded money, but not as much as they wanted. So it's yes. But anyway, it was funny. The jury had no idea who I was until I went on Jimmy Kimmel.
That's what makes this amazing.
I went on Jimmy Kimmel with Good Morning America, and the jury was like, "Why didn't anybody tell us who she was?" Mind you, the show, The Bachelor, was airing while I was in trial. But I guess they didn't watch the show, but they watched Good Morning America. So they were like, that attorney was just, but I'm like, great, that's the way I wanted it.
Yeah.
Because here's a little behind the scenes thing. I announced me being Bachelorette early, right? And people were disappointed. They actually wanted me to announce it earlier than that. They wanted me to announce it right after my one-on-one in New Orleans. So that was like week 5.
What?
And I said no because I knew I had a trial coming up, and I knew it would take away from my client. You know, all the attention, I wouldn't be able to try the case. I've been working on this for over a year. So I said, no, please do it until like the trial is over. And so they respected that, which was very nice of them.
Yeah. In prepping for today, I read that you wish you and Bryan had more airtime and that your love story and connection was put out there more. Talk about that a little bit.
I felt like, and I'm guilty of this, I've said this before, with Bryan, we were hot and heavy. and that is true. You saw that. But we had such deep and meaningful conversations that I just felt like you didn't see. And there is a bit of trauma element to the show.
Yeah.
And we didn't have that. So our story was, and then, they played into the Latin lover and the passion. Yeah. And so that was kind of our storyline of, is there any depth, or are they just like, is it just this passionate whirlwind romance? And I really wish, I remember one of the first days I had with Bryan, he told me about how his dad had cancer, and he saw the way that his mom stood by his side. I mean, he's cancer-free now, but he saw the way that his mom stood by his side, and she, was with him and cared for him and took care of him. And he said, and his parents were still together, and they've been together for, I think, 40 years this year, or last year. And he said that's what he wanted. And because I was just kind of like, you're this age, you have this career, you're very attractive. Why are you in this position? And that's why I doubted him. And that's when he explained to me about what he wanted for himself, and he hadn't had that yet. And that resonated with me so much because I'm so big on family. Just knowing the love that his parents had, he wanted something like that. It meant a lot to me, and I saw a different side of him. Y'all never saw that conversation. And I thought it was very beautiful because I kept saying, oh, you're too good to be true, you're too good to be true. But it was that kind of conversation that started to change my mind. But nobody saw that.
Yeah, it would give it away.
It would give it away. And so not taking away from the other people, I definitely liked Dean and Eric and Peter, who were my top 4. I liked Matt. I boo-hooed, and everybody about it, you never saw any airtime with him, and people were like, why did, you probably don't even know what I'm talking about.
I'm trying to think.
Because you never saw him, and we were very close, and I boo-hooed. Like, I cried in a manner the same way like I cried with Peter when I sent Matt the exact same way. Because it's just so hard when you get that. You don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, and I underestimated that. I thought, if I want you, I don't want you. No, that's not the case. It's very hard when someone's pouring their heart out to you, and you know you're going to send them home. That's tough. I don't care who you are.
Was it hard for Bryan watching all, like, what is that towards the very end when you're like, when he sees all that, were there any like rocking times, or did he get it?
Yeah, I tried to finesse my way of, you don't really want to see this. You know what happens at the end. Like, it's really necessary, but Bryan is a person
Like
who
your
wants to be
season
fully
in
informed.
particular, because it was dramatic at the end. I mean, we were all thinking you were going one way. At least
Well, that's what they wanted you to see.
Yeah.
So I mean,
he's watching the
talk about
edits
that.
with us. Like, that's hard.
Well, I told him,
I feel for him.
Brian is a person who wants to know everything up front. So like the more after we got engaged, he asked me everything. Like
Talk about all that.
who would be the person that would bother him the most? What happened with fantasy suites? Like he asked every single question, and I was very honest with him about it all because I didn't, I don't lie. I didn't want it to come back. It's like we're starting off this relationship, and I was scared. I remember I was crying as I was telling him things because I didn't want to lose him because we were so fresh. But I appreciated that he wanted to ask me those questions and that I could be honest enough. And I felt like that's why we had such a strong foundation in our relationship. So he knew what was going to happen and that it was going to be tough. But it's another thing to actually see it. And so I thought that things would be edited in a different way than they were. And so you have to realize, setting the stage, it's a week's worth of filming in 2 hours. So there's that. There's a narrative that has to be created. So when people are like, I got a bad edit, I don't like to say that. Because what you saw was real. My emotions were real. The conversations were real. You just saw a portion of it. So I'm never going to say I got a bad edit or somebody, I say Bryan, you didn't get to see all of Bryan and that's upsetting to me. But my tears weren't, like imposed.
Yeah.
Like my words weren't. That was all real. And it was very important for me to get all of myself, because I felt like if you saw all my emotion, then you would understand all the love that I had at the end for Bryan. At least I thought people did get it, but whatever. Again, this is me being
I got it.
This is me being new to The Bachelor, but I wanted to give all of me, so I had absolutely no regrets at the end. So if I wanted to cry my lashes off in the moment, I was going to cry my lashes off in the moment, because that was how I was feeling at the time, but it didn't take away from the next person. So leading up to the end, my goodbye was 4 hours long. You never get that long to talk with somebody. But, when I'm looking at it objectively, I can see it from a producer's role. When I was in it, I was in it. It was hard to say goodbye. There was a lot of emotion. There was a pendulum of things like you saying things you never said to me before to you saying things in a negative way you never said to me before. So it was a lot, but we needed to have it out and have the talk because it was a breakup. Now what you didn't see is I knew I was always going to break up going in, and I thought that I had it under control until I was actually about to do it. And then you're saying things to me, and it's hard to let go of that because there are times people are like, was Bryan? Did you always know it was Bryan? No, I did not. There are times when I did think that it could be other people. So you're having to let go of that. No, I've never talked to him since I was
Really?
I've talked to every other person. I've never talked to him. And I just think that that's just out of respect of Bryan. Like Peter didn't necessarily have the most positive things to say. I had a very emotional goodbye with Peter. And then just the way the media and even Bachelor Nation gravitated to him over Bryan. There was just a lot of different dynamics. It's not because I have any bad blood.
Yeah.
Like I have no problems with it.
Yeah.
It's just better off that we just keep things the way that they are. But I think it's hard for people. You see a certain story or you see a certain narrative and you have no idea everything that goes behind it.
Yeah.
And it's exhausting to try to explain it. It's just like, it is what it is. People are going to think what they want to. I am very happy and I got the love of my life out of it. And so it's like, I'll drive myself crazy trying to prove that to everybody else. Bryan and I were like, we're just going to be ourselves.
Let's talk about that. So how long has it been since the show wrapped? A year and a half? 2 years?
Since it finished airing?
Yeah.
Yeah, a year and a half.
Okay, so what happened after that? Did Bryan move straight here? Like, talk about your life today and what you guys are up to.
So Bryan immediately was like, I'm moving to Dallas. Like, because he had the more flexible career.
Do you guys like pre-plan that? Like, in the sense that when you're talking, are these like things you discuss that obviously we don't see on TV?
Yeah, I mean, well, I went into the fantasy suite, which I found.
Talk about that.
How did I let that go? I tried to get around it, but I tell people that I had a list going into the fantasy suite. The other day, I was cleaning out and I found the journal that I was using on the show, and I found the list. At least the list I had to Bryan. I guess I threw the other ones away.
What is on this list?
Credit score, religion, political affiliation. I mean, it's really like if I'm really thinking of spending the rest of my life with you, like, what if you support something that I cannot get behind? What if you believe something that I absolutely don't believe? I needed to know.
Yeah.
If you're big on family, if certain things about me intimidated you, certain things that I saw in the person, like this is what I have an issue with, or things that have been issues in my past relationship. I had like 25 different things. I'm gonna post it on social media. It was actually funny to go back and see it. Yeah, it was funny to see that, but just the conversations that we had. So I had those conversations preliminary before I knew I was going to say yes. But in the time that you're in hiding from May to August, you have these secret meetings, and usually in LA, every 2 weeks. So you have time. You're there for 4 to 5 days. Yes, you have TV and your phone, but you're there, and you make the most of it. So you start planning a future, and you really get to know the person that you're with. That's why some people come back to the reunion, and they're like, nah, this didn't work. Because you really get to know the person, and some people are more in love than ever. So Bryan and I did talk about that, so he was going to move to Dallas, and he did. Right after the show, I took him to Houston to meet like my grandmother and my extended family. I think it was at that point that my mother realized it was real. She said, so no cameras are going to be there? I was like, yes, this is actually real life. This is happening. So then she started to get it. Then I went to Miami. His family threw a big party, and I met his friends and extended family. And then we moved to Dallas. And we've been in Dallas ever since. I mean, we live here. I feel like we're never here. And that's kind of it. You know, I never thought I would move in with somebody before, and you know, like that was kind of hard for my family to adjust with, just because of like what we believe and stuff. But for me, I have no regrets. I'm really glad we did it. It was necessary. I feel like we're stronger than ever. You know, we've had highs and lows getting to know someone. I've actually learned so much more about myself. I'm type A, and I don't like to admit that. And I thought I was so chill and so laid back, and I am in certain things. But when it comes to living with me, I have realized I am totally type A. So it's just been a growing, you know, it's been growing pains.
There you go. That was a very insightful Instagram live. You already know the interviewer did her best to ask other questions, but of course she knows that her audience and people, you know, were curious about Bryan and Rachel's relationship and the wedding and all of that. So I'm glad that Rachel was able to cover that herself and say those things in her own words. So I'm wishing Bryan and Rachel the best, you know, and whenever they get married, I will still support. My thing is, you know, it's their life. Do what's best for the both of you. There's no rush. I'm glad that they're still in love, happy, in love, and still working on their forever together. And that's the most important thing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you again for your love and support. You know, stick around, guys. I know that I don't post them, you know, constantly, but I'm going to do my best to be consistent with them if they are consistent on social media. Okay, thank you all for, you know, rocking with me from the beginning, because before my channel started blowing up, it was all about Bachelor Nation coming over here and supporting me, and I still do appreciate the bond and relationship that we've created, so thank you so much. I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, my Finna loves. I'm wishing you all an amazing day. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and leave this video a thumbs up. Also turn notifications so when I do post, you're aware that I posted, and I will see you all in the comment section. Remember to always have the God bless attitude, which is being positive at all times and seeing the good in every situation. Have a great day, guys. God bless.